We'll get a quick word with Mike here in a moment. He's making his way over, the legend, the pride of Brownsville. Mike, can I ask, the world is excited to see you one last time, perhaps. Can you just tell us the emotions, the thoughts that are going through your mind right now?
Talking's over.
Why did you push him there? All right, that's it.
I don't want to fucking play with. I don't play no motherfucking games. I'll fuck you up, motherfucker. Fuck you up. Play no motherfucking games.
And that's my personality. Like right now, I'm scared to death. But as the fight gets closer...
Mike Tyson just lost his mind at a press conference and tried to attack Floyd Mayweather right in front of hundreds of people. Security had to rush in and physically restrain Iron Mike before he could get his hands on Floyd. And what happened next is absolutely wild. This isn't some staged WWE drama. This is real tension between two of the most dangerous men who ever stepped in a ring. And the crazy part, this whole situation started because Floyd made one comment that sent Tyson into an absolute rage. You can see it in Mike's eyes, that same killer instinct that made grown men terrified to face him in his prime. The man who bit off Evander Holyfield's ear, who knocked out opponents in under 30 seconds, was about to unleash 20 years of built-up frustration on Floyd Mayweather.
The world is excited to see you one last time, perhaps. Can you just tell us the emotions, the thoughts that are going through your mind right now?
Talking's over.
But here's where it gets even more intense. While Mike's losing his mind, Floyd's team is in full panic mode trying to calm him down before this press conference turns into an actual street fight. You've got to understand, Floyd's never been in a situation like this. He's the guy who talks trash and then outboxes you for 12 rounds. He's not used to dealing with someone who might actually try to hurt him outside the ring. His security team and trainers are surrounding him, whispering in his ear, trying to keep him focused because they know if this escalates any further, someone's going to jail and their massive payday is going up in smoke. Floyd's trying to play it cool, but you can see the concern in his face. This isn't sparring. This isn't even a real fight with rules and referees. This is Mike Tyson in full destroyer mode. Now listen to this part. Floyd tries to downplay the whole situation by saying this is just routine for him, that he's done this before and he'll do it again. But his voice is shaky, and he can barely finish his sentences. The man who's never been rattled in the ring is clearly shaken by what just happened. He's trying to convince everyone, including himself, that facing Mike Tyson is just another day at the office. But we all know that's complete nonsense. Floyd's fought welterweights and junior middleweights his entire career. Mike Tyson is a heavyweight who used to knock people unconscious with uppercuts that sounded like gunshots. There's a reason Floyd never moved up to heavyweight during his prime. And now, at this stage of both their careers, he's trying to act like this is no big deal.
Worry about that. This is easy. This is what I do. I'm a fighter, so I don't worry about anything. Once again, I've been a professional 25 years, then fought the best, then seen every style, and always came out.
Here's where the story gets absolutely fascinating, though. Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle and trainer, steps up to try and calm everyone down. He's telling reporters that both fighters are professionals who will honor their contracts, make their money, and walk away peacefully afterward. But you can tell he's worried. Jeff knows his nephew better than anyone, and he's probably thinking the same thing we all are: what the hell is Floyd doing agreeing to get in there with Mike Tyson? Even at 58 years old, Tyson still has that aura of violence around him. Jeff's trying to sell this as a business transaction, two professionals doing their job. But everyone in that room just witnessed Mike trying to attack Floyd at a press conference. If he's willing to do that in public with cameras rolling, what's going to happen when they're actually in the ring together?
Tyson, if there were some prearrangement for this fight, Tyson's animosity, well documented towards Floyd. Any chance that he's going in there and, and saying, hey, screw all, I don't care what agreement was made, if there was one at all, I want to kill this dude?
Nah. He gonna get a check. Floyd's gonna get a check. And they're gonna get a check that's real huge.
And get this, Mike Tyson starts breaking down the stylistic differences between him and Floyd, and it's honestly terrifying to hear. He's talking about how Floyd is slick and flashy, dancing around, making boxing look pretty. Then he describes his own style as delivering real pain and power. The way he says it, with that cold stare and that slight smile, you realize this man is still a predator. He's not looking at this as an exhibition or a friendly sparring match. He's looking at Floyd Mayweather like he's prey. Mike's explaining that while Floyd makes boxing look like art, he makes it look like war. And the scariest part? He seems genuinely excited about the prospect of hurting Floyd. This isn't trash talk for the cameras. This is Mike Tyson being honest about what he wants to do to Floyd Mayweather.
Never the fly, slick, black fighter. You know, it was just very serious, and it was just very hard and mean. I didn't like the slickness. It was all about hurting him.
But wait, it gets even more interesting when Evander Holyfield weighs in on who would win this fight. Remember, this is the man who fought both of them. He went 12 rounds with Floyd in an exhibition, and he's the guy whose ear Mike Tyson bit off. So when Holyfield says he'd pick Mike Tyson to win, that carries serious weight. He explains that even at his age, Tyson's style makes him nearly impossible to hit cleanly, and his power is still devastating. Holyfield knows what it feels like to get hit by both men, and he's telling you that Mike Tyson is still the more dangerous fighter. Coming from a guy who faced some of the hardest punchers in heavyweight history, that's a terrifying endorsement for Mike's chances.
I got Tyson.
You got Tyson over Mayweather. That's huge. Why? I just got Floyd because he's younger, 10 years younger, fast, elusive.
I hear bigger punches, man. You're gonna get toe up.
Really?
Of course.
So if Tyson lands on Floyd, Floyd's going down?
Yeah.
But so when he fought Jake Paul, some fans, you know, they weren't too impressed with Tyson's performance versus Jake Paul. Do you think you'll have a better one versus Floyd?
I just think if they compete, you're gonna get.
I like that. You're sticking with your boy Tyson, though. You're loyal.
Well, I'm just
heavyweight size.
He don't let nobody get the. He ain't gonna let nobody get the best.
Now here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Recent footage from Mike's training sessions shows he's still a monster in the gym. His trainer is watching him spar, and you can hear the shock in his voice as Mike lands combinations with lightning speed and brutal precision. The man is 58 years old, and he's still moving like he's in his 30s. Every punch sounds like a sledgehammer hitting concrete. His footwork is sharp, his timing is perfect, and most importantly, that killer instinct is still there. You watch these training clips, and you start to understand why Tyson looked so uncomfortable at that press conference. This isn't some washed-up former champion looking for one last payday. This is Mike Floyd's proving he's still one of the most dangerous human beings on the planet.
Excellent! Excellent!
Complete game. Complete game. Beautiful game. Complete. There's nothing to say. You're complete.
Excited just enough! Beautiful roll, Mike! Excellent roll! Excellent defense, champ! This is the perfect head position. This we talk about it. 40 seconds.
You are winning the fight, so there's no reason for you to rush. We are winning the fight. All good for us.
Clean shot, Mike! Excellent! Nice left hook! Up, up.
We're done. The job is over. We're done.
4, 3, 2, 1, and time! Oh!
Meanwhile, Floyd training footage tells a completely different story. He's working on his speed, his technique, his defensive movement, all the things that made him great. But there's something different about his energy. Usually Floyd trains with this supreme confidence, this swagger that says he knows he's better than everyone else. In these recent videos, he looks focused but tense. He's working harder than usual, pushing himself in ways we haven't seen since his biggest fights. His team is putting him through intense sparring sessions, trying to prepare him for a style of opponent he's never really faced. Floyd's always been about outboxing guys, making them miss, frustrating them over 12 rounds. But how do you frustrate someone who's trying to take your head off in the first round?
Slide and drop. Punch it, wait it, here we go. Drop, drop. Walk it, walk it, walk it. Pitch it. Pitch it. 6. Punch it. Pitch it. Watch it. I step back like I have my distance. That's why I step. See, I have my distance. Fighters don't know their distance.
Hold up, because this is where the business side gets absolutely wild. Floyd's targeting this fight with Mike because he knows exhibitions are generating insane money right now. Look at what happened with Tyson versus Jake Paul. That fight broke viewership records and made everyone involved filthy rich. Floyd sees those numbers and realizes he's sitting on a gold mine. Mike Tyson's name alone is worth millions. The man hasn't been relevant in professional boxing for decades, but put his name on a fight poster, and suddenly everyone from casual fans to hardcore boxing purists is paying attention. Floyd's always been about maximizing his earning potential, and a fight with Mike Tyson represents the biggest payday available in boxing today.
Fought Manny Pacquiao. Like, he waited until Manny got knocked spark out from Marquez, and then he was like, yeah, now's my time to fight him. I just don't believe that Floyd would have fought Mike Tyson if Mike Tyson didn't fight Jake Paul. But Floyd seen that Mike Tyson couldn't hardly walk to the ring. When he got to the ring, he couldn't move around. Jake Paul was running circles around him. And that being said, I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan, like huge, but we see what Floyd's doing here. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in there with Mike Tyson, who couldn't do anything with Jake Paul. I'm gonna get millions of dollars. Well, yeah, I'm up for that. But again, I don't blame Floyd Mayweather for doing this. In boxing, I always say, you know, there's not much money in it for the regular people like me and you if you're a fighter. But for someone like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, they were earned absolute.
But here's the kicker, and this is something most people don't understand about Mike Tyson's drawing power. The man commands $1 million appearance fee just to show up at events. Not to fight, not to speak, just to be there. His legendary reputation and that aura of controlled violence makes him one of the most compelling figures in all of sports. When Mike Tyson walks into a room, everything stops. People are fascinated by him, terrified of him, and desperate to be near him all at the same time. His career, his personal struggles, his comeback story, his philosophical transformation, it all combines to create this larger-than-life persona that transcends boxing. Floyd understands that getting in the ring with Mike isn't just about the fight purse. It's about attaching his name to the most famous heavyweight in history.
Fan base is always curious about the old-time fighters, which is why Tyson always gets views even today, because people are always curious about the Mike Tyson mystique, the Mike Tyson effect. So people that weren't able to be alive and wake up the morning of a Mike Tyson fight to know what that feels like, you know, want to feel that today. I promise you, it's nothing like it was in 1989 with Tyson, no matter what you guys want to feel. But regardless, I think people get curious about that. And I think this is going to be sort of the same thing. There's nothing that's going to match the Mayweather-Pacquiao era of that time where they were flying and people wanted to see that fight. This is not going to be that feeling on the morning of. But like the champ said, on the morning of, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, I think you're gonna end up, you know, ordering that pay-per-view or watching on Netflix, whatever. This is on Netflix.
Now listen to what Jeff Mayweather reveals about Floyd's comeback strategy, because this is where it gets really interesting. According to Jeff, this isn't just about one fight, it's a calculated business move. Floyd's name still carries enormous weight in boxing, even years after retirement. People are still fascinated by his defensive mastery, his undefeated record, his trash-talking persona. By coming back now, he can leverage all that fame and prove he still has the skills that made him the highest-paid athlete in the world. Jeff explains that Floyd isn't looking to chase titles or take unnecessary risks. He's being smart about it, choosing opponents who provide both a challenge and massive financial opportunity. And Mike Vlad represents the perfect combination of danger and dollars.
I'm gonna be in his corner. I mean, I've never really been in his corner. I mean, a long time ago when I first got him signed, yeah, I was in his corner. But other than that, no, I don't think that I'll be in his corner.
I mean, obviously he's coming.
I'll be there to support him, but I won't be in his corner.
No, of course. Do you think the comeback is like for like a title run, or is it like like do you think he's going to kind of go after some of the top guys, or is it just kind of like he wants to come back, got a couple more pro fights, rob the bank?
I think that if he comes back, he's going to come back in a way where it's going to be smart and it's going to benefit him. You know, and I think that, you know, his name is bigger than still bigger than anybody that's out there today. And that in itself is going to sell. So basically, you know, I mean, he's going to have to fight somebody one day. And I think that that one day is when everybody will find out how much he has.
Here's what makes this matchup so compelling from a stylistic standpoint. You've got Floyd representing one era of boxing, the slick, defensive, technically perfect approach that dominated the 2000s and 2010s. Then you have Mike Tyson representing old-school heavyweight boxing, raw power, aggression, and the ability to end fights with one punch. Jeff Mayweather points out that this clash of styles and generations is exactly what sells fights. Boxing fans want to see how much Floyd has left in the tank, just like they followed Manny Pacquiao's late career fights. The difference is, none of those aging legends faced someone with Mike Tyson's reputation for violence. This fight tests Floyd's enduring abilities against the most feared puncher in boxing history.
It's a shame that that's probably one of the biggest fights in boxing now. And that's ridiculous. I mean, with all these other young fighters, nobody still hasn't got to that height of fame. And that's a shame. I mean, but there are a lot of good young fighters that, that I see myself growing up, coming up, and I mean, that I really like, but I don't think that right now their name and their talent, and their fame haven't reached to that level.
But wait, there's something way bigger happening behind the scenes that explains why Floyd really needs this fight. DJ Vlad drops an absolute bombshell when he reveals that a major jeweler suggested Floyd might be experiencing serious financial problems. Think about that for a second. This is Floyd Mayweather, the guy who made over $1 billion in his career, and there are rumors he's having money troubles. How is that even possible? Well, when you're spending money on private jets, luxury cars, and jewelry collections faster than you can invest it, even hundreds of millions of dollars can disappear. Vlad points out that Floyd's lifestyle requires constant massive income just to maintain, and without active fighting revenue, that lifestyle becomes unsustainable.
You know what's crazy? I don't know whether it's true, but I was hanging out at Wes Watson's house. Right, he's a big fitness influencer.
Yeah, I know
who he is, right? So we did a house tour.
Bald head is a dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
white dude, big,
prisoner guy.
Prisoner
Yeah,
guy,
I know
right?
what you're
Exactly. So when we're getting ready to shoot, he's got these kind of people at his house,
right?
And there's this old school jeweler dude there. They're like, oh, this is one of the OG jeweler guys. This is who everyone else gets their stuff from. And he told me, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but he's like, Mayweather's broke. I said, no. He's like, no, really, Mayweather's broke. Now, I don't know if it's true.
Right.
This is what this guy told me. I'm like, how could he be broke? He's like, yo, he spends like crazy.
Yeah.
This completely changes how you view Floyd's comeback. It's not about proving he's still great, it's about financial survival. When you're accustomed to spending millions per month on luxury items, cars, jewelry, and maintaining multiple properties, you need serious cash flow. Floyd's return to boxing isn't about legacy preservation or staying relevant. It's about generating the kind of money that can only come from major fight purses. A bout with Mike Tyson represents potentially the biggest payday available in all of combat sports right now. Floyd's not fighting because he loves competition. He's fighting because his extravagant lifestyle demands it. And honestly, that makes this whole situation even more dangerous because a desperate Floyd Mayweather might take risks he would never consider during his prime.
Would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling.
And here's what's absolutely crazy about this whole situation. Floyd's approach to boxing has fundamentally changed the sport, and not necessarily for the better. Analysts are pointing out that by carefully selecting opponents and avoiding real challenges to protect his 50-0 record, Floyd prioritized his personal legacy over boxing's integrity. He created a generation of fans who watch fights for viral moments and social media clips rather than appreciating genuine competition and skill. Think about it, Floyd taught an entire generation of fighters that it's better to look good against weak opponents than to test yourself against the best. That mentality has infected modern boxing and turned it into more entertainment than sport.
I assumed that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't. I don't know Mayweather like that.
But here's the really damaging part. Critics argue that even elite fighters like Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez can't restore boxing's credibility because Floyd's approach has become the blueprint for success. Why risk your undefeated record against a dangerous opponent when you can make millions fighting safer competition? Irvin's strategy worked perfectly for him financially, but it's destroyed the sport's competitive integrity. And now, this potential fight with Mike Floyd represents everything wrong with modern boxing. Irvin would never have fought Floyd in both their primes when it would have been a legitimate contest. Instead, he's willing to face a 58-year-old version for the spectacle and the money. It's the perfect example of how boxing has become more about entertainment value than athletic competition.
Of this, who looks at it now and says he's 50-0? A generation, the first generation of boxing fans who don't box. Tattoos all over. You will shoot somebody down for $1, right? You will play around and beat up a bum who's drunk out of his mind so you can put it on YouTube, right? But you won't put on the gloves. You won't go to a local gym and put on the gloves. And you have killed boxing. You have killed something that saved me from a life of being a victim. Okay? You have done it. And you have destroyed boxing in such a way, Floyd Mayweather fans and Floyd Mayweather. You have destroyed boxing in such a big way that even Crawford and Canelo can't say.
Now here's what makes this announcement even more shocking. Michael Floyd's reveals his complete disbelief that Floyd's is actually coming out of retirement for this fight. Irvin knows Floyd personally and never expected him to return to the ring, especially given how successfully he'd transitioned into business and promotion. Remember, Tyson revolutionized boxing's financial structure by taking control of his own career. In the old days, promoters like Don King would make hundreds of millions while fighters got relatively small purses. Floyd changed all that by becoming his own promoter, ensuring he collected both the fighter's purse and the promotional revenue. During his Showtime deals, Floyd was earning between $150 and $175 million per fight, money that should have set him up for life.
And Canelo can't save it. Because by the time September 14th comes, it's back to the circus of Tank Davis and Jake Paul. And I was on Tank Davis' side. Most of you know that. I'm done with him too. Okay? I will officially say that he ducked Lamont Roach Jr. And you know, I don't say everybody ducks everybody. I don't say that. Okay? I don't say that. Jack Dempsey ducked Howard Wills, Harry Wills. Sugar Ray Leonard, when he was supposed to be fighting Marvin Hagler, when Marvin Hagler was in his prime and begging Sugar Ray Leonard for a fight, Sugar Ray Leonard ducked Marvin Hagler. Floyd Mayweather Jr. ducked Manny Pacquiao.
So here's my question for you, and drop your answer in the comments because I'm genuinely curious what you think. Is Floyd making a huge mistake by coming back to face Mike Tyson, or is this the smartest business move he could make? Are we about to witness one of the most dangerous fights in recent memory? Or is this just another cash grab that damages boxing's credibility even further? And honestly, do you think Floyd's financial situation is really as bad as the rumors suggest? Or is this just smart marketing to build interest in the fight? If this breakdown helped you understand what's really happening behind the scenes with Floyd's comeback, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because this story is developing fast and you don't want to miss what happens next. I'll see you in the next one.
Shocked me. Floyd Mayweather Jr. unretiring. He is 48 years old and going back in to fight again. He will announce that he's unretiring right after the exhibition fight he has against Mike Tyson in April. Now, I say when I see this, my mind went everywhere because I'm thinking, all of the stuff that I've heard, like allegedly he's having money issues and money troubles. And then I didn't know if to believe that because I don't see how you went through that kind of money. And Floyd, I thought, was a brilliant businessman because he was the one that flipped the game. Remember the Don Kings and all of those promoters? They would come in and make hundreds of millions.
But hold on, because there's another layer to this story that nobody's talking about, and it's absolutely wild. Sources close to both camps are revealing that this isn't just about one exhibition fight. There's apparently a 3-fight deal being negotiated that would make both Floyd and Mike richer than they've ever been. Think about the implications of that for a second. We're not just looking at one dangerous encounter between these legends. We're potentially looking at a trilogy that could span the next 2 years, with each fight building on the drama and violence of the previous one. The first fight tests the waters, the second fight settles any controversies, and the third fight becomes the ultimate conclusion to both their careers. From a business perspective, it's genius. From a safety perspective, it's absolutely terrifying.
We'll make 25, 30 million a year, but Don King made hundreds of millions. Floyd Mayweather flipped the script and said, no promoter, I'm not going to pay you or let you take home that kind of money. I'm going to hire you and I'm going to take home all of the promotion money. When I was with Showtime, with my guy over there, they were taking him checks for $150, $160, $175 million because he was getting paid to box, but also paid as the promoter. This, I never thought would happen. I just never thought it would happen. Now him returning to the ring, how does this affect him moving forward? Does he stay 50-0? I don't believe Floyd will get a loss on his record.
Here's what's even crazier about this whole situation. Jake Paul, who fought Mike Tyson and lived to tell about it, is now offering to train Floyd for this fight. Let that sink in for a moment. Jake Paul, the YouTube star turned boxer, is positioning himself as the expert on how to survive against Mike Tyson. And honestly, he might be the only active fighter who has recent experience dealing with Tyson's power and unpredictability. Paul's offering to share the game plan that helped him go the distance with Iron Mike, and Floyd's team is apparently considering it. Imagine Floyd Mayweather, one of the greatest defensive fighters in history, taking advice from a social media influencer about how to handle a boxing legend. The sport has officially reached peak insanity. Now get this, Mike Tyson's own trainer is going on record saying he's never seen Mike this motivated for a fight, and that includes his championship runs in the 1980s. According to his training team, Mike is treating this like the most important fight of his entire career. He's in the gym twice a day, following a strict diet, and most importantly, he's studying Floyd's fighting style like he's preparing for a title fight. Remember, this is supposed to be an exhibition, a friendly sparring match for entertainment purposes. But Mike Tyson doesn't know how to do anything halfway. When he commits to violence, he commits completely. His trainer says Mike keeps talking about how this is his chance to prove that real heavyweight power beats fancy footwork every single time. But here's where this gets absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm not even sure people are ready for this information. Industry insiders are suggesting that this fight could potentially generate more revenue than Floyd's fight with Manny Pacquiao, which was the highest-grossing fight in boxing history. Think about those numbers for a second. We're talking about potentially breaking pay-per-view records, international broadcasting deals worth hundreds of millions, and sponsorship packages that dwarf anything we've seen in combat sports. The Mayweather-Pacquiao fight generated over $600 million in total revenue. If this Mike Tyson fight approaches those numbers, we're looking at purses that could exceed $200 million for each fighter. That's generational wealth, even by Floyd's standards. And here's what makes those financial projections even more realistic. The global appetite for heavyweight boxing content has exploded in the last few years. Between Mike Tyson's comeback fights, the success of heavyweight champions like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and the crossover appeal of exhibition matches, there's never been more money in heavyweight boxing. Floyd represents the technical mastery that hardcore boxing fans respect, while Mike represents the raw power and legendary status that casual fans love. Combine that with the genuine animosity we witnessed at that press conference, and you've got the perfect recipe for a cultural phenomenon that transcends sports. This isn't just a boxing match, it's a global entertainment event. Now here's something that's going to blow your mind about Floyd's current situation. Financial experts who have analyzed his spending patterns suggest he burns through approximately $15 to $20 million per year just maintaining his lifestyle. That includes property taxes on multiple mansions, insurance on his car collection, private jet maintenance, security teams, and the constant jewelry purchases he's famous for. Even if Floyd has $100 million in liquid assets, at that spending rate, he'd be broke within 5 years without new income streams. A fight with Mike Tyson doesn't just represent a payday, it represents financial survival for someone who's never learned to live below his means. The pressure is real, and that makes this fight infinitely more dangerous. But wait, because there's another angle to this story that's absolutely fascinating. Boxing analysts are pointing out that Floyd's defensive style, which made him virtually untouchable during his prime, might actually be perfectly suited for dealing with an aging Mike Tyson. While Mike still has devastating power, his reflexes and timing aren't what they were in the 1980s. Floyd's ability to slip punches, tie up opponents, and control distance could neutralize Mike's aggression while frustrating him into making mistakes. If Floyd can make this fight ugly, clinch frequently, and turn it into a technical chess match rather than a brawl, he might actually have a better chance than most people think. The question is whether his own reflexes and conditioning are still sharp enough to execute that game plan. Here's what's really interesting about the timing of this announcement. Floyd's team strategically released this information right after several high-profile exhibition fights proved there's massive money in nostalgia boxing. The success of fights featuring aging legends has created an entirely new market segment that didn't exist 5 years ago. Fans are willing to pay premium prices to see their childhood heroes compete one more time, even if the competition isn't at championship level. Floyd's capitalizing on that trend, while his name still carries enough weight to command massive purses. It's brilliant business timing, even if it represents questionable athletic decision-making. The market for this type of content has never been stronger, and Floyd's smart enough to cash in while the opportunity exists.